You get a car, you get a car, you get a car, and you get a car. Yes, we are talking about how to get an auto loan with no money out of pocket and no payments for 90 days. Let your credit work for you, my friends. My name is Credit Coach Nicole Scott. If you are new here, make sure that you have subscribed to the channel. Give me a huge thumbs up and let me know in the comments below. Well, let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, the first credit union that we are going to be covering, and just a side note, whenever we're talking about credit unions, you always have to join as a member if you want to get access to their credit products. Especially if you don't have the best credit score, you want to join as a member and start working on building a good relationship with that bank by simply opening up a checking account, savings account, maybe possibly a high yield account. The goal would be to get to 5 or more credit products or banking products with this said bank. I recommend waiting 90 days before you apply for anything, just so you can build up that relationship if you don't have the best credit score. Now, if you are already in a position where you're like, hey, I'm already looking at a 680, 700 credit score, then probably can go right into it, join and apply, no issues, especially if you have comparable credit, meaning you've had auto loans in the past where they were paid on time and you have a good amount that you financed. So first credit union, State Department, Federal Credit Union, you can finance up to 84 months. And right here, you can see no first payment for 90 days. And the great thing about it is you can finance up to 125% of the vehicle. Make sure that you add gap insurance when you finance your vehicle, just in case anything happens. That's going to cover you in the event that there's any sort of gap in what the insurance doesn't pay. So that way you don't have to be responsible for that and it doesn't go on your credit. Now, this is a credit union. You will have to join it. Like all credit unions, you have to become a member first and then apply. If you already have good credit, you can apply pretty much right away. If you don't have the best credit, I recommend building up that relationship with the credit union for at least 90 days before you apply for any credit products. The goal would be to get to at least 5 or more banking products with each credit union when you're focusing on building that relationship. Checking account, savings account, high yield. If they have any sort of, secured loan, credit builder loan, those are great as well. You just want to stay away from the secured credit card. All right. Reason being is you don't want to have to get a secured credit card if you don't have to. And if they have a secured loan product, let's go after that, because there's not going to be any big deal if you close an installment loan versus if you close a secured credit card. Now, if you are looking to keep your car payment around a certain amount, this is what it would look like at a $35,000 auto loan. It's about $531. So if you want to keep your auto loan below $500, because of course that doesn't include insurance, you would probably want to get an auto loan somewhere around $30,000 or less. That would keep your payment right around $455 in that range, and that would be if you financed the vehicle for 72 months. Now, 84 months is going to bring your payment even lower, so if you did want to go for a higher vehicle, you could still kind of keep your payment a little bit lower, but you will be paying a little higher on the interest rate. You can probably go somewhere up to $40,000 and your payment would be around $528. But if you were like, hey, that's a little too high, like try $38,000. $38,000 at 84 months would have you right at around $500 a month for that monthly payment. Because one thing that you want to make sure of, this is a long-term commitment, right? Even though there's no payment for 90 days, that 90 days comes up pretty quickly, and then you're going to have to commit to this payment every single month. So you want to make sure that you are taking on something that you can manage and that you can, afford to pay every month. Because one thing that you don't want to do is get a late payment on here, okay? Now, with the State Department, you want to join as a member. You want to make sure that you really open up a bank account with them, checking account, savings account. Let that marinate for a few days, depending on what your credit score is, and then you can apply for the auto loan right online. I like to apply for things late at night because you're up against a computer system. Just make sure you don't have any fraud alerts. You would probably want to call them directly and see what credit bureau they are going to be pulling your credit from when they pull. The great thing about credit unions, unlike the dealerships, they're not going to pull your credit from 20 different places. They're going to pull your credit once, and it's generally just going to be from one credit bureau. But these credit unions can vary based on your geographic location, and they can vary based on what credit product you're applying for. So sometimes when you apply for a credit card, they might pull one credit bureau, but when you're applying for an auto loan, they might pull another credit bureau. So you always want to verify directly with the bank who they will be pulling your credit from. You can just let them know, hey, my credit's locked. I want to make sure that I unlock it for you guys so I don't have any issues when I go through my application. Another thing that you should just take note of is the fact that each credit union or bank will have a list of their approved auto dealerships that will accept their financing. Not every auto dealership out there is going to accept outside financing from every single bank. So they'll provide you with a list, and then you can go to those dealerships, because what you don't want to do is go to the dealership because they are all about sales. As soon as you walk in there, as soon as you call them, they want to get you in their office. They want to try to sell you, but you're going to be coming with your own financing. You're going to get fees or payment or financing directly through the credit union, so that way you could take advantage of no money out of pocket and no payment for 90 days. Next up, we're going to have Golden One Credit Union. They are great. They're in California, and they have the same type of deal. I've actually had an auto loan with them in the past. You just want to make sure that you never get a late payment with these guys, because even though they are a second chance bank, they are pretty forgiving. They'll usually approve people starting at like a 660 and above. Generally, they're going to pull from Experian, but again, call them to verify because it can vary based on your geographic location and also the credit product. But generally, Golden One is going to use Experian. You can finance for up to 84 months and no payment for 90 days. I recommend setting it up on auto pay. Now, their rates are a little bit lower, rates as low as 5.39 right now. And that's pretty good considering the fact that if you finance it for 84 months, it's still a pretty low rate. Now, that's the lowest that you can possibly get. Your rates are going to depend on your credit score. So if your credit score is not exactly where you need it to be, make sure to reach out with me, book a call to see if we can add a trade line to your credit profile to boost up your credit score. Because the thing about the trade lines is the bank isn't going to know what your credit score was prior to that. So this is going to help boost up and, kind of give you that shot that you need to really get those scores pumped up on steroids for the time that you're going to be purchasing this vehicle, so you can take advantage of the best rates, the best deal. You're not paying anything out of pocket, so you investing in a trade line is basically like, hey, somewhat of a low down payment, even though, our trade lines, they range, but we have trade lines a couple $100, some of the better trade lines, $600-700, but they're for a 3-month term, guaranteed to post, and most of our trade lines post to all 3 credit bureaus. We guarantee 2, but in this case, I can say this would definitely help someone if they're just looking to get their score a little bit higher so they can take advantage of the best rates, especially if they have comparable credit, meaning they've had an auto loan in the past that they showed to pay on time and didn't have any late payments on that. You can buy a new car or you can buy a pre-owned car. Now, pre-owned cars are going to have the same type of deal where it's no payment for 90 days, and it's going to be no money out of pocket. Competitive interest rates, so you can kind of select which of the credit unions you want to start with. If you're not sure, you can book a call with me. We can discuss. The link is in the description below. Next credit union that we're going to be talking about is TDECU, your credit union, and you can get no money out of pocket, no payment for 90 days, terms up to 84 months. And the great thing about it is these are all great credit unions. I feel like, if I had to choose one of these credit unions, it's going to be based on where I'm located, because some of these are geographically restricted, meaning if you're in a certain location, you might not be able to join. However, there's other credit unions out there that have the same program, because right now they're really trying to push auto loans. Dealers are really wanting to get the old out and in with the new, so you can still get a nice new 2024 car for an affordable amount of money, and try to keep your car payment under $500 or under $600, depending on where your budget is. So 0 payment for 90 days, 0 money down option. Now, if you put money down, it could make your car payment, your monthly payment, a little bit lower, but I'm always like, hey, you know what? No money down. Let's leverage our credit to get the best interest rate possible so we can have the lowest payment. And then you can always pay additional payments, maybe make an extra payment for a month or, whatever the case may be. So that way your balance goes down a little bit quicker, and there's no prepayment penalties. So if you decide that you want to pay your car off quicker, great. But allow this to build up some credit for you, some comparable credit, so that way next time you buy an auto loan, you can kind of graduate to that next tier. Because the way that the banks work is, if you've never even had a $30,000 auto loan, what makes you think they're going to give you a $60,000 auto loan? So you have to show comparables, and you have to use that ladder to grow up and up and up and climb up the ladder. And the great thing about this is anyone can pretty much get a $20,000, $30,000 auto loan, right? Even if you don't have any comparables. But if you do, you can get even a higher one. You just want to be mindful of what that payment is going to be every month to make sure that's going to be a comfortable payment for you to pay on time and commit to for the next, 7, 8 years, depending on how long that you finance the vehicle for. So you definitely want to become a member with them. They also offer motorcycle, boats, RVs, SUVs. Not same program as far as 90-day, but still pretty good, pretty good program, if you ask me, as far as interest rates go. And this is an all-around great bank to bank with, or credit union, I should say, because they offer credit cards, they have a business department. So whenever I'm telling people like, hey, start a relationship with a new credit union, you always want to make sure that they check all the boxes for you that you would want to, be involved with in the future. So if you are a business owner, make sure they have a business side. Unlike some of these credit unions, they don't really have much of a business side, like PenFed, Pentagon Federal Credit Union. They're great for auto loans. You can pre-qualify for auto loans. Generally, they're going to either pull Equifax or Experian for auto loans. Sometimes it's both. Again, it depends, but they do not offer the 90-day payment deferred program. That's just certain credit unions, and unfortunately Navy Federal doesn't offer the 90-day payment deferral program either. But if you are already with a credit union or a bank and you're having a hard time making your payment, you can contact the bank and ask them if they can defer 2 or 3 of the payments to the end of the loan term, especially right now with the holidays coming up. If you need that extra money, that will not impact your credit whatsoever, but they can defer some of the payments towards the end of the loan. And that's pretty much with any auto financing company out there. Now, if you are financed with another company that has a higher interest rate, like Ally or GM Financial, you can refinance your vehicle with one of these credit unions. You can really choose any credit union out there. It won't necessarily be the 90-day deferral program because that is applicable to a new purchase, either financing a new vehicle or a new pre-owned vehicle. But great program, great way to leverage your credit so that way you don't have to pay out of pocket. And just a reminder, get their list of approved dealerships that they work with, because again, not every auto dealership out there is going to accept all outside financing. And you want to speak with the finance manager when you go into the dealership and just let them know that you already have financing through your credit union. Next credit union we're talking about is New Vision Credit Union. You can apply right online, no payments for 90 days, pretty good. And then you can do the payment calculator to get an idea of where your payments would be, because I know when I was getting a vehicle, the only thing that I cared about was being approved, right? But then when they told me the payment, I was like, oh my God, it's so high. I don't want a high car payment. I don't want a $600, $700, $800, $900 car payment, because it's just not worth it, right? So take your time, be cautious. You don't need something super fancy. What you need is something that's reliable and dependable, and it's going to last you a long time. Don't focus on these higher end luxury vehicles when you're not making that type of money, because the maintenance on these vehicles is expensive. Everything about these vehicles is expensive. So I want you guys to really sit back and say, look, I'm not trying to impress anyone. Get a Toyota, get a Honda, get a nice, dependable vehicle that is going to last you for this 7-year time frame. All right. You don't want to get those other vehicles. I hear so many people saying that they bought a pre-owned BMW, and next thing they know, they got to replace the engine and all this other crazy work. You don't want that. You want a newer vehicle within the last 2 to 3 years. All right. Preferably, the newer the better, less than 20,000 miles, preferably, right? I like CarMax because most credit unions will finance with CarMax, and CarMax is a no hassle zone. So if you go there, you buy a car and you don't love it, you can return it within 30 days. That's one of the only dealerships that will allow you to return a car if you simply don't like it. So that's why I like them. But take your time, do your research, and see what's going to be best for you, what's going to be affordable for you, and most importantly, what you're going to be able to manage over the next 5 years, because this is a long-term commitment, guys. So again, make your next move your best move. If you haven't by now, make sure to give me a huge thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. And most importantly, if you want to join my credit community, comment the word community and I will send you the link for you to join so you can learn more about credit, business credit, get discounts on trade lines, and so much more. Last but not least, we have Connexus, one of my top 20 credit unions that I would select, and they are on my radar to start building a relationship with them as well. So what I do recommend is that you join as a member and then wait about 90 days, especially if you don't have the best credit score. That way you can leverage your relationship to get approved, because even people that have poor credit they can still get approved if they build the relationship with the credit union up right. So that's why I like these credit unions, because they're not so hyper focused on credit score. They're focused on their relationship with their members. So when you join 𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂 I would go after, of course, the auto loan first, since that's, what we're trying to do here. You can apply right on their website. And again, no payments for 90 days. Love it. Up to 100% financing. Because I'll tell you what, a lot of times if you get a vehicle in your business name, you really got to pay attention to the financing amount, because a lot of banks do not finance 100% of the vehicle. And you always want to add gap insurance. You do not want to add the extended warranty. And believe me, the dealerships are going to give you crap about not wanting to add the extended warranty. Why? Because that's how they make their money. All right. Instead, put that money that you would have spent on that extended warranty into a high yield savings account and make your money work for you. And if you do need to dip into it because something happened with the vehicle, then you can do that. But if you buy a brand new vehicle, even if it's a 2024, a lot of those come with a manufacturer warranty, like Toyota. They come with a bumper to bumper manufacturer warranty. You don't need that extended warranty, and most of the time it doesn't cover squat that you need it for anyway. So it's just a complete waste of money. So make your next move your best move and think smarter, not harder, guys. Okay. So this is the breakdown of their rates. A little bit higher rates on the 84 month, but the 72 month is kind of where I tell people to stick with, because you're going to be able to get a little bit better of interest rate, and you can still have your purchase or your payment down pretty low. So if you do a not 300,000, good Lord have mercy. But if you are looking to finance a vehicle that's about 30,000, I know, like, for example, my family, we just got a new Toyota Camry. It was a 2024, and it was about $37,000. So if you, and that car is going to last forever. Okay. Very nice car. It also gets 52 miles for 52 miles a gallon, because it has a fuel efficiency. It's not electric. It's just more economic, and it is, I guess, better on fuel. I don't know. I'm not a professional auto person, but I know this. It's 52 miles a gallon, and the gas lasts forever. These Toyotas are already great on gas, and that car was about 37,000. So if you were to finance the whole thing, no money out of pocket, at 84 months with a 6.69% APR, you're looking at about $552 a month. Or if you wanted to go a little bit lower on the months, then you can see it's 609, which, some people might think that's a little too much for them. And you don't have to buy a brand new vehicle. They did have pre-owned vehicles from a year or two before with very low miles on it. But it's like, when you look at it and you look at the fuel efficiency for that 52 miles per gallon, it's like that makes up for it, really. And now is the best time to buy vehicles. Again, they're trying to get rid of the old inventory so they can bring in the new 2026s. So take advantage of this, guys. Make your credit work for you. And most importantly, subscribe to my channel. My name is Credit Coach Nicole Scott. Thank you so much for watching and spending the time with me today. And if you are not interested in any of these credit unions, simply do a search and find more. There are several other credit unions and banks out there that are offering a similar program where, even if they don't offer the 90-day no pay, you can still get an auto loan with no money out of pocket, a really good interest rate. You can refinance high interest rate auto loans, and you can get trade lines from me to boost up your credit score so you can take advantage of the best rates. I'll see you next time. Take care.